Hi. It's hot in here. I didn't turn the air on. You guys make me nervous.
Baby, won't you be my...
Hey guys, what's up? It's Savannah. Welcome back to my channel. Before we get into it, this is not going to be our setup. If you watched my last life update, you know that I just moved, and yes, I am planning on doing a room tour, but things are still in the process. If you've ever moved before, you know it takes some time to like settle in, and we've only been here like 4 days, and my closet's like a freaking disaster. I don't even want to talk about it, and the space isn't completely done yet, and so I haven't figured out where I necessarily want to film. If you watched my last true crime video, you would know I said the exact same thing. But for today's video, my friends, we are back doing a lifestyle video. So I haven't filmed a lifestyle video in what feels like forever. I feel like the only videos that I literally film all the time are either true crime videos, a life update, and then maybe a playlist here or there. So I wanted to steer away. The next video, just like a spoiler alert, will probably be a playlist video because I know you guys want one of those. But I decided we were going to switch things up and do a video that has been so highly requested by you guys, which is how to properly self-tan. If you have been here for a while, we can take a little stroll down memory lane here. And honestly, like even if you're here now, like this is not something that's like new news. Like my spray tan hands, like it's a thing in the comments, like we joke about it or you guys joke about it, which is fine, which is fine. I'm gonna pop up a picture of like 2017 spray tan Savannah. We'll just take a moment to like, yeah. So we have come a long way. I would like to think we have come a long way because I always talk about how much I self-tan. You guys have had so many questions as to my tips and tricks. You guys have had so many questions on how I apply a self-tan, prepare for a self-tan, and then maintain a self-tan. So I'm gonna run you through all of my tips and tricks, and then I decided the best thing to do after that would be to talk about my favorite tanning products, because you guys, I am a veteran when it comes to tanning products. I have tried out so many different tanning products that I feel like I can tell you what my favorite ones are and which ones give you the most natural looking tan, which ones kind of are a little iffy, what my all-time favorite one is. So I worked at a tanning salon for collectively about 1.5 to 2 years, and in that time frame, you learn a lot. You learn about the do's and the don'ts and the what to do and what you should avoid, and after that, I have been self-tanning ever since. Sometimes I'll go to the salon and have the machine do it, like a machine self-tan. But honestly, I find that every time I do a machine self-tan, I always come home and redo it myself. Like the machine is never even enough for me, so I just always come home and I do it myself. So that is a little bit on my tanning background if you wanted my resume. So with that being said, let's start off with how to prepare for a tan. All right, so preparing for your self-tan. Now this applies whether you are going to get an airbrush, this applies whether you are going to the salon to get it through the machine, and it applies if you're going to just be applying it on your own body. I'm going to tell you what we would tell you if I still worked at a tanning salon. So when you're preparing for your tan, you might think that these steps are a little extra, but honestly, they are what's going to prolong your tan the most and make it look the most even and natural looking as possible. So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna get an exfoliator if you don't have one already. The exfoliator is going to remove all the dry and dead skin from your body. It's just gonna get it to go away. You should exfoliate regardless of whether or not you're gonna tan or not, but if you're going to tan, definitely exfoliate prior. Typically about 24 hours prior is what's ideal, but I have definitely done it within the same hour, so it's not that big of a deal. Once I get out of the shower, when I know I'm going to self-tan, is I do not moisturize. After I get out of the shower, I do not moisturize. But what I will do while I'm in the shower, along with exfoliating, is shaving. Shaving is so huge. If you shave, if you don't shave, this doesn't apply to you. But if you do, you are going to want to shave prior to your spray tan. You're gonna wanna shave your legs, your arms, wherever you wanna shave, you're gonna wanna shave prior to your spray tan. Now, does this mean that you can't shave while you already have applied your spray tan in the days following? No, you still can. But just to protect the tan as long as possible, you kind of want to get all the maintenance that you would do on yourself out of the way before applying the tan, because there have been times, I will tell you, where I have shaved my legs after a spray tan and it comes out looking very uneven. So just shave, okay? Just shave. Another tip I have for you before you apply your self tanner is applying lotion. You want to apply lotion in the creases of your body, if that makes sense. So for example, your elbows, you want to apply lotion there. your knuckles, your ankles, in between your toes, in between your fingers. And the reason for that is because once the tan develops over time, for whatever reason, in those creases is where it looks the most fake and where it'll get darker. I don't know the science behind it. It's just, it is what it is. So if you don't want that to happen and if you want it to look more even of a tone, you can put that on your elbows, fingers, ankles, toes, knuckles. Your wrists too are a good one. That way you can avoid the spray tan hands. So that is another big tip as well. So exfoliate, shave. I personally don't moisturize before I get a tan. And that's basically it. For preparing for your tan, that is really what you're gonna wanna do. Shave, exfoliate, and I don't moisturize. So now let's move on to applying self-tanner. So if you are going to a salon to get the tan done either by an airbrush professional or just by the booth, like the spray tan booth, this doesn't apply to you. But if you are using the mitt with yourself, doing it yourself, this gets tricky. So when applying the self-tanner, you have to pay such close attention because it is so easy when you're applying it to yourself to miss a spot. It's so easy to miss a spot. Personally, what I like to do is I like to start with my arms. I will take the mitt and I will start with my arms and move in circular motions all throughout my arms. And I usually always do this in front of a mirror. That way I can see what I am applying to my body and if I am missing a spot. After I apply to my arms, I make sure to get underneath my arms right here. Then I apply onto my chest and I do the circular motions on my chest, and then I go down and I apply to my stomach and then my legs and then my face, and then we get to my back. Tanning your back is such a pain in the ass, like just plain and simple. It is very annoying. This is the part where you're really gonna wanna do it in front of a mirror. Also the back of your legs, make sure you look in a mirror when you're doing that too, because that is also a really easy spot to miss. So when you're applying it to your back, you're gonna just like go into, this is so weird. You will figure it out. I promise you, it feels almost impossible the first time you do it. You will figure it out after trial and error. You just really gotta reach. You just gotta reach. Or if you have like a roommate or a friend or like a husband or wife or whatever, or girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, that can do it for you, maybe have them do it. I don't have that. I'm single, I live with my family. Like I could ask my mom to do it, but I usually tan late at night and it's just whatever. But if you have someone that can tan your back, ask them to do it because it'll just save you a lot of time and a lot of frustration. So once you apply your spray tan, you are going to not want to shower for at least, I mean, every bottle is different. Some say 2 hours, some say 4 hours. Personally, for me, I like to sleep in my tan. What I'll do, I have white sheets, so it sometimes gets a little tricky, but I will just wear sweatpants and a sweatshirt to bed. That way I have the most chance of avoiding any transfer of the bronzer to the sheet. For me, that's just what works. If you don't want to sleep in your tan and you don't like the smell, you can wash it off after 2 to 4 hours or 4 to 6 hours. I know every bottle is different, so make sure you read on the back of the bottle or listen to the salon consultant when they tell you how long you should wait before showering. Personally, for me, the spray tan smell does not bother me. I think maybe I'm just so immune to it by now that I don't even smell it. But I do know for some people it's like nails on a chalkboard, so if that's not your thing and you don't want to sit in it, then just time it out where you'll shower before you go to bed. Now, maintaining your self tan. This is so important because it is so easy for your self tan to break, meaning that it is easy for it to start looking kind of leopardy and it'll like wash off in certain areas but not in others. It'll become blotchy. Now, the main way to avoid that from happening is moisturizing. Moisturizing as much as you can is so important. It's something that I'm really guilty of. For as much as I tan, I feel like I really don't moisturize half as much as I should be. So definitely make sure that you are moisturizing because that's what's going to prolong the tan life the most, and it's what's going to make it look even the longest. So definitely moisturize. Moisturize, moisturize, moisturize. Along with that, they also say that avoiding water is best. Now, when I first started tanning, I was very much like, oh, I can't get in water. No, you can get in the water. If you want to get in the ocean, pool, whatever, you can get in the water. But the more times you are in water, the more your spray tan will be affected by it. So if you go swimming all the time, or if you're in the ocean, or you take a bunch of showers, it will make your tan start to fade quicker. However, don't let it stop you from living your life. Like, don't let tanning affect your day-to-day living, just map it out in an effective way that's going to work for you. You can always reapply. Like, let's just make that very clear. You can always reapply tanner if need be. Honestly, the moisturizing is the biggest tip that I have for prolonging the tan. It's the one that everyone's going to tell you. So those are kind of my tips. If I can think of any others, I'm gonna insert a clip right here of me talking about it, because I did make a tanning video in the past with a tanning brand, but that couldn't go up because there were issues. So I'm gonna go through that video and make sure I didn't leave anything out. And if I did, I will import a clip right here. Let's talk about different types of self tanners. So you have mousses, lotions, gels, sprays. They're doing sprays now, waters. I have not tried the sprays and the waters yet, so I don't know about those. But as far as mousses versus lotions, I always go for the mousse version of anything, just because I feel like lotions have a tendency to get very streaky. With mousses, I feel like I can properly like rub it into my skin. I feel like I can really rub it into my skin and the color will transfer over. And I don't have to worry, one, about my hands, because when you're doing it with the mousse, you have a mitt, and two, I don't have to worry just about like missing a spot and getting streaky. You guys, you know what I'm talking about. So personally, I prefer the mousses. I have heard really good things about tanning waters and tanning sprays, so I will try those and I will get back to you on that. Ironically enough, I actually don't have my favorite self tanner with me. I ran out of it and I have not picked it up yet. I actually have to order it, so I haven't even ordered it yet. So I'm going to start off with my favorite, and my favorite self tanner of all time is Loving Tan. I love Loving Tan. My best friend Kristen is who introduced me to it. She also worked with me at the tanning salon, and we have both tried our fair share of tanners, and Loving Tan is so great. I've just found that with my skin tone, which again, everyone's skin tone is different and everyone's going to have a different reaction to different tanning products, will be someone's favorite and it'll look fire on them. So it's just, it all depends on your skin tone and how you take care of it and things like that. So Loving Tan for me has just always given me the most natural looking tan. And it's also been the most long lasting and stayed even the longest. So I highly recommend Loving Tan. It's not an orange color, it's not a green color. Genuinely is a nice natural tan. I typically wear the dark shade. So if you guys want to check that out, you can. I know they sell them at Ulta or on Ulta's website. My Ulta doesn't carry it in the store, but they sell it on the website. So if you want to check that out, you can do that. Now let's talk about the tanning products that I do have to show you. So this one is one that I used for a while, and I have some pros and some cons about it. So this is the Coola Tan. Now it's the Sunless Tan Express Sculpting Mousse 70% organic. Now the reason I love this self tanner is because it is the most natural looking self tanner that I have ever tried. This is the most natural looking self tanner, and it doesn't have a super strong smell to it. It kind of smells like pina coladas, which personally I don't like that smell, but it doesn't have the tan smell to it. So if you like the smell of like coconuts, you might like this. I just don't like that. What I noticed when I used this tanner is it looked like I went into the sun naturally and got like a light tan. The thing with Coola is I don't think that they have like levels to their tans. Like most tanning companies will have light, medium, dark. I don't believe that they do. I think it's just like this one. Now, the one bad thing that I have to say about this mousse is the fact that it comes out white, like a clear white color. So when you're applying it to your skin, you don't know if you're missing a spot until it's already developed. I applied this to myself the other day, and when putting it on my body, because I forgot that it was clear, I haven't used this brand in so long, but I ran out of Loving Tan, went to Ulta, they didn't have it, so I picked up this. When I applied it, I was like, oh my God, this is clear. I forgot that it's clear. How am I gonna know if I'm missing a spot? Typically, mousses will have some sort of color to them, and in doing that, you'll be able to make sure you don't miss a spot. With this, it's really hard to, it's impossible to tell. You can't tell. You just kind of have to do it and hope for the best, and then wake up the next day or wait however long you're gonna wait and see what the results are. So this, it's hard because if you want the natural look, I recommend this. However, it's hard to apply because you don't know if you're missing a spot, and it dries really quickly too. So you're kind of just like, okay. The next brand that I want to talk about is running on my fingers, and that's not good. Next brand I want to talk about is Santro Pay. So Santro Pay is a brand that I grew up with. Like my mom used Santro Pay. She still uses Santro Pay. All my friends used to use Santro Pay. So growing up, I just always went for Santro Pay. It was like the one brand that I would just always gravitate towards because it was what I was familiar with. And then I started exploring more self-tanners. Now this is the Santro Pay Extra Dark Mousse. This is what it looks like. Comes in this cool bottle. They do have different shade ranges. They have light, medium, dark, extra dark. For whatever reason, and I don't know why, my Sephora only had the extra dark. So I picked it up, and honestly, what I will say, I have tried the dark and I like the dark the best. I like the dark shade the best. I put it on, it looks even, it looks good. I wash it off, no complaints. This, when I put it on, it had a very green undertone and it freaked me out. But at that point, I was already in too deep. So I went for it and I applied it all over my body, and it dried really quickly, which made it not very easy to blend, which was frustrating. Didn't have that experience with just the dark shade, so maybe it's just the extra dark. But after I applied it and then took a shower the next day, after I took the shower, the tan did look very good. It was just that initial applying and processing period that the tan did have a very green undertone for me. So I like Santro Pay. I like all their other products. I don't like their tanning remover. They have like a tanning shower remover that I've used and I just have not enjoyed, but I do like their dark shade the best. This isn't bad after you shower, but you just have to kind of deal with being green for a little bit, which I feel like is not worth it. Okay, now these are the Dr. Dennis Gross Alpha Beta Glow Pads. Now these aren't really talked about as much and I don't know why, but maybe I do know why. Okay, so these are these little like packet towelette pad things, and I don't put these all over my body considering the fact that they are literally like this big. I only put them on my face, and I've been doing it pretty consistently now, and it looks really good. And I do it every couple days because it does wash off pretty quickly. Probably after 2, maybe 3 days, it kind of washes off, so after 3 days I'll reapply, but it does give you a really nice natural looking color. The one thing I have to say about it, the one thing, it smells like tequila or vodka. I'm pretty sure it's vodka. Yeah, no, it smells like vodka. It smells like straight vodka. And it's just one of those things where I just like, I plug my nose and I'm like, let's just do it, let's get it over with. But if you're sensitive to smells, I don't think you will like this. There are other ways that you can get your face tanned, and maybe we should talk about tanning your face. I know a lot of people don't like to tan their face because their skin is either really sensitive or they don't want to break out or whatever, and that's totally fine. The only reason I tan my face is because I rarely wear makeup when I'm not filming. I just want my face to match my neck when I'm not wearing makeup. I know a lot of people don't care about that because they either wear makeup more consistently or they just don't want to put it on their face in general. Either way, whatever you want to do you. But if you do want to apply self-tanner to your face, I highly recommend this if you can stomach the smell of vodka. Maybe you love the smell of vodka. Go off. Another brand that I really like that I don't have the bottle with me right now is Glow Pro Tans. I talked to you guys about them before, I'm pretty sure in like a vlog or something. They have an amazing mitt. Glow Pro's mitt is unlike anything I've ever felt before. It is so soft, it is so squishy, it is so nice. You know, sometimes if you've used mitts before with self-tanner, they sometimes are spongy, like they have this dry, hard, spongy texture to them. Glow Pro's mitt is like rubbing velvet on your skin. It is so smooth, it feels so good. It makes tanning so much more enjoyable. So if you're interested in a mitt, if you're in the market for a mitt, I highly recommend them. They also have a really good shade range on their website you can look into. They have different shade ranges that you can try out. I used their darkest shade and I really liked it. It didn't have a bad smell for me whatsoever. Like I said, I'm not really sensitive to the smell, but it didn't have a smell for me personally. As far as how to remove a self-tan, tans typically will last about 7 to 10 days. That's what they say. It's supposed to last 7 to 10 days if you moisturize every day. But let's say it starts breaking, it starts cracking, or you just want it off in general. If you first apply the self-tanner, like the next day, you're like, I want this off, it's gonna have to take a couple days. But to take off a self-tanner, Santro Pay has an exfoliant mitt that can help take off self-tanner. I'm gonna pop a picture of it right here. It's really good. I use it with my exfoliator and it really does help take off my self-tan. And after a certain amount of days, like after a week or 8 days, 9 days, your self-tan will be a lot easier to take off. Like if you're using exfoliator, if you're using a brush with it, your self-tan will come off pretty easily. And I'll try and link all of the products that I'm talking about in the description box below as well. So that's really my tips for how to get rid of a tan, and that's my tips on how to self-tan in general, you guys. I feel like this video, I feel like I'm getting back into the lifestyle videos, so I feel like this video was kind of all over the place. I'm just like sitting on my bedroom floor and like filming this. I don't know. With that being said, you guys, that is all for me today. Thank you so much for tuning in to another video. If you're new here, hi, my name is Savannah. I make videos 3 days a week, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. You should subscribe and join the family. I love you guys so much, and I'll be back in a couple days with a brand new one. Bye, guys. Feels so good to do that.